a review of the match day 21 Bundesliga 1 as promised. I promised on Monday. It's Tuesday now. I'm a bit late. I was busy. And still feel obliged to do. And although the results have been disastrous again, I guess, I'm not quite sure what happened in the end. But you see plenty of stats here that I'm working with. But we do have the results, one part of it. We do have the stats telling us a bit better the story of the games. I can tell a bit about the games, talk a bit about them, or evaluate them on stats, and we will see the single results where the market was better, where my figures were better, and how it ended. What the perfect betting game, so to say. What the final result was. And we see here, ever since I started recording, I lost a lot in the first time I've done it. 8th match day 8. And from then on I may have recovered partly, but 1,300. Partly recovered, but I guess there is a bad result. I didn't do it for match day 20 and match day 12. I forgot, and I wouldn't do it afterwards. That would be a bit silly, maybe. Okay, so here we got the results, the pure results, and of course we can have a look what they gave us, but here this would tell us a bit better the story of the game, as the stats are transferred. I don't know myself. You don't badly need to see me. But here the stats have been recorded for every single game, and they produce those results. I'm going to explain that quickly, but I had some expectancies for those games in terms of goals I expect them to score, and here's what the stats made of it, what this more or less what the team would have deserved. And just to show you here, this is just to give one example, the number of shots I expected for Mainz and for Leverkusen, and I expected Mainz even to be better. Instead it was in fact 14-19 instead of this, so Leverkusen were better in this. On target, Leverkusen were a lot better. In corners, it was close, 4-4 crosses. I expected even Leverkusen to be better, but here Mainz were better. And in possession, that was very bad for Mainz. And also in tackling, they were clearly behind. 45% only instead of 52 I expected. Anyway, that doesn't look so beautiful here because this is not formatted. I just wanted to show you my algorithms transform this into goals they should have scored, which you can see here. And those stats were obviously in Mainz's disfavor, they were against them. So the goals they should have scored amount to 124, while Leverkusen should have had 167. So not only were Mainz a bit worse, they produced chances for just 1.24 instead of 1.38 goals. While Leverkusen created some more chances. Still, this result would be misleading somehow because you wouldn't say, well, if a game ends 1-5, that sounds very one-sided, which the stats would not fully confirm. And also Sandro Schwarz, coach, said after the game, well, he wasn't that unhappy with how his team performed. We can say better, we know better. We could tell him, well, in the end, you were 0.3 goals worse than I would have expected. They don't need to agree to these figures that I expect, but those figures would say, well, slight favorites are Leverkusen. Market was a bit more in their favor, and if they win 1-5, and also the stats confirm, Market was better, very obviously. But still, he can say, well, I'm not that unhappy, because if Market were clearly for Leverkusen and those are the stats, then you can actually agree, well, we were not that much worse. Although I thought they could even have been a bit better, which wasn't quite the case. But very obviously, Market was leaning towards Leverkusen. I explained this in the preview. And because new coach maybe also reset, because the winter break usually, players can settle a bit. Okay, we had a bad part of the season, but now we start anew, and we got all the chance to do better than we did. And so Leverkusen were higher rated, and maybe Market was right. I can't say much, but those stats would also say, well, it could have ended differently. I have to reject this phone call, or rather, as I do not know the number. I have to do something about it. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the phone. Hallo?
Ja, einen wunderschönen guten Tag. Richter, mein Name. Und zwar geht es darum, wir haben hier von Ihnen einen Zettel in den Briefkasten bekommen. Das ist die ATP-Siedlung Untergarten 68.
Ja.
Für am Donnerstag zwischen 11:30 Uhr und 14 Uhr.
Nein, das bin ich nicht.
Habe ich jetzt die falsche Nummer gewählt? Okay. Ich habe gewählt, glaube ich, 0177.
Nein, 0172 habe ich.
Okay, Entschuldigung.
Danke, wiederhören. Tut mir leid. So, excuse me, but if someone, there's a number I do not know, I'm rather obliged, and I can't stop the video really. So I have to keep this recorded here. Mainz, Leverkusen were the better side. Mark was right. Result on their side anyway, so you can hardly argue. And seeing the pictures said, well, it could have gone otherwise, but simply you can also say this attacking power Leverkusen delivers or are always able to get on the pitch. It's irresistible. So I can hardly argue. Market was better. This would still say, well, I'm not fully wrong. And I would somehow agree with myself and also with Sandro Schwarz. It was not terrible. But the result. Okay, now we have Dortmund-Hoffenheim. I mean, I could show instantly it was a very bad result for me. Minus 326. So, of course, I was wrong. Dortmund, that was 3-0, they were winning, and it ended 3-all. And, I mean, it was once again a bad result for me. And as I pointed out here, just the draws would hurt. But if you hear a 3-3 coming from 3-0, I mean, this got nothing to do with the draw. But if Market is right, but I can hardly say it was right here, because a 3-3 is anyways not such a kind of a draw where you say, I mean, this one was even worse because it was 3-0 and then 3-all. But here I would say also talk about the game. I mean, here this would say Dortmund close to 1 goal better expected and only 0.6 goals or 0.5 goals, sorry, 0.47. They were only better. So Hoffenheim played better than expected. And still this would confirm plenty of chances at either end. So a draw is the least likely result. This would be confirmed by these stats, because that's even 3.85 goals, right? This is more than even I have expected. And so this was an over anyway, and things like that. But 3-all. Anyway, the story of the game was Dortmund were... okay, maybe they were lucky to be winning 3-0. Hoffenheim were never fully out of the game, but after 75 minutes was still 3-0. I have to reject this phone call. After the 3-0, 75 minutes, it was still not too late for Hoffenheim to come back. But that was also pretty lucky. Even if you would say, well, if they perform better than expected, because this is 0.4, 3 goals, they were better than expected. You can say, well, they deserve a good result. This is also less than 0.5 goals. Dortmund were better, so starting at 0.5 goals, I consider a win deserved, but 0.47 is close enough, so you could also say Dortmund deserved a win just by stats. But after the 3-2, actually, there were those 3 chances that Dortmund should have scored the fourth, right? So and this this goes by everyone watching the game. They do not notice. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to, or they think eventually there's some action and we're happy with that. Also, all the experts don't notice. But it was. I mean, before that there was already this 4-0 for Jadon Sancho, right, hitting the post and so on. But there were other chances after the 3-2 that were as big, and Dortmund wouldn't score. I'm not unhappy with it. I'm just arguing that lots of other results were possible there, and there were chances all over. And so even after the 3-all, still they wouldn't go to rest, right? So they were still trying, both sides actually. So bad result for me, but I can hardly say I was wrong on that. I mean, it just happens sometimes, right? Can't do much. And this 0-0, this was, I mean, here Leipzig weren't not far away, but 0.12 goals in favor of Frankfurt, so I was not fully right, maybe, but 1 goal I expected them to be better, and they were still like 0.85 goals better. So, I mean, it should have been a win, it's simple as that. I mean, if you saw the chances late on for Leipzig or throughout the game, they should have won. It wasn't to be, and another bad result for me. So it was another disastrous match day, as I notice now, and maybe I knew before. Already I notice it when I see these results, right? Also having in mind that I made the preview when I was talking about the draws. So we have another draw here, which was, yeah, you can say this was a bit more likely because there were only 2.57 goals in this one, the sum of these two. Anyway, I mean, I was happy with my evaluation, didn't go my way, so I can't say I was wrong here. In Hertha, I was pretty neutral in this one, but the stats would say, well, I was pretty good. I mean, 1.96, 7, 0.96, 2.18, 0.99. So Gladbach were even a bit more superior than expected. So this is a kind of a freak result. Seeing the pictures there would tell me still the story. Hertha had been okay. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's so busy here right now. But I have to answer a few things or do a few things. Okay. So this is fully misleading result. Seeing the pictures would still say, well, Hertha did look okay. Of course, all the experts agree, well-deserved victory for Hertha, because 3-0 no one argues about, but they would anyway justify any other result too. Here also, Dortmund were giving away the win and so on, which is just silly. I mean, the 3 goals, they don't know for sure they're going to score them, so you can't take that for granted, but you can also not take for granted if you're 3 goals up, the others can't score. Both sides had their chances, both sides played well, so they can be goals coming here or there. And you're not giving something away. The other one is watching you while you give it away or what. He's trying, you're trying, so it happens. And here it's the same. Gladbach had their chances early on, a couple of chances. So this is, the butterfly going this way or that way, right? It could have been 3-0 as well here if Gladbach scored the first goal somewhere. And after the second, maybe they get a bit more desperate. Still, they had their chances. They had plenty of them. Wasn't to be. Hertha won. Still, it didn't hurt me. So I can't say I was wrong on that one. In Freiburg, Wolfsburg, I said we want Wolfsburg. And Wolfsburg were the better side. Not by as much as I expected, but I'm close enough. So 0.1 goals in favor of Freiburg. Still, I'm this close here. And Wolfsburg were 3 times took the lead, and always Freiburg equalized. So you can also say after Wolfsburg scored, they stepped back and they waited for Freiburg to come. Stats went their way. Anyway, I'm close enough. I can't complain. 3-3 is not a real draw. And after the 3-3, there were still chances. It was about at the same time. I think it was exactly the same time. They, in the conference, Sky conference, it's called, they were both shouting, goal in Freiburg, goal in Dortmund. So it was 3-3 in both games at the same time. It's 85 minutes or so. Hannover, Nuremberg, 2-0 was driven by steered. The decisive moment came after 11 minutes when a player had been sent off. I lost a little here, meaningless. Stats went, of course, Hannover's way with a 11-10 for 79 minutes, almost 80 minutes. So this is a very regular way a game can go. Also the result. Of course, I still would say after scoring after 50 minutes, because 45 plus 5 minutes injury time in first half, this was the first goal came for Hanover. This was the decider, because Nuremberg, now they are 10 men, now they are a goal behind, right in this moment when they thought maybe 0-0 at halftime, we can survive this, but now we can't. I mean, it's 1-0 at the break, we are player down. How to come back from there? They may have tried, was not enough. Anyway, Bayern against Schalke, I'm also very, very close to the stats were close enough. I mean, they are desperately close. They are as close as can be, right? So it's simply the right result. You can also say, well, 2.48, it's close enough to 3, and 0.82, so it's the perfect result, so to say, right? If you see here 2.39, 0.78, you could say 2-1 would have done. I mean, Schalke had their chances, but also Bayern had enough chances. This is the highest value of all the teams, right? No one has more than 2.39, so Bayern once again. And they scored their 3 goals, so no one can complain about anything. Just a proper result. Here, it's very different. In Werder against Augsburg, I mean, I lost on this one as well. And I cannot argue, but I wasn't wrong. Definitely not, because this is... here, even Schalke have a very small edge of 0.05 goals, so I mean, when you see the chance after the 2-1, was Schalke equalizing with their first chance, you can say. But after that, they had some chances, and after the 2-1, again, they had some chances to equalize. And so it could have gone otherwise here in this moment. But in the end, it's well deserved, but I can't complain. 44 is not a lot. There was a lot I could have won with a draw, or even with the Schalke win. Well, not this much, though. I wasn't this far apart from Harkett anyway. This was a completely insane result, I would call it. I mean, it was very well done when Werder started scoring, and all the goals they scored looked beautiful, nice. Okay, you can't say much. I mean, if it happens, you say this is deserved. It was so well done. But why Augsburg had been denied in the meantime, they were 0.62 goals better, and they even were better by stats. You can say, well, after the 3-0 at least, Werder didn't care at all. They all were in celebration mood or whatever. But Werder just took any of the chances coming their way, even if they done it in style. I mean, here it was just very sad for football and for myself. I thought, well, how can a team play so well and simply not find the back of the net? I mean, they wouldn't score. And at any moment, not after the 4-0, but after the 3-0, 2-0, you would have thought, well, the game only just started. So it's like here, when you see coming back, here a comeback 3 times, here a single comeback, but a great one from 3-0 down, 75 minutes. So why not here again, right? After you saw these two, you would say, well, why shouldn't it happen? I mean, they also know that it happened, so they are not desperate. I mean, when it's 3-0 and they score with a halftime whistle, there was 2 more chances, I think. And if they score 1 goal and they think, well, Hoffenheim were 3-0 down after 75 minutes, we're 3-1 down after 45 minutes. So what's wrong? I mean, we're still able to come back. Others have done so. And with all those stats, I'm very, very, very close to except Werder, who scored 4, but were pretty far away with 0.59 goals. But all the others were pretty close, I would say. There's not these huge margins. I mean, I can hardly show or prove that the values are right, or I could give you the page also. But I'm doing this properly. I'm not interested at all in any kind of cheating. Anyway, as long as I'm losing here, what could I do about it? Of course, here prove my system is perfect or so. But Düsseldorf were about exactly as much better as expected. And I was still a bit curious why they were so clearly favored by a computer. But somehow it was right, but market agreed on that. So I even made just a very, very small bargain on that one. But I was exactly right. And the 3-0 final scoreline, I mean, this is exactly 0.01. I mean, this is meaningless. So anything could have happened. They were half a goal better. They played half a goal better, so they deserved the win. 3-0 was, of course, too much. Stuttgart also could have scored, but it wasn't to be. So we had some freak results, some strange comebacks, some possible comebacks. Also here, also in this one, I would say, right? They are not. Yeah, they are desperate. They are low in table. They can't score. But if they score at any point, they would still think, well, why not? I mean, others have done so. Why shouldn't we do so? And but those freak results, I also consider if pretty even games. I mean, this is half a goal better, okay, and a 3-0 win is still clearly too much. And also the 4-0 win is rather ridiculous. And also this 3-0 is upside down, right? It's a wrong way around. And okay, this one you can say, well, I'm happy with it with the stats, but this is the way the game went. So we can all, of course, I mean, talking about excitement and stuff like that, right? Rules, excitement, and well, I could say a lot about that. But as long, I mean, you would say, well, this gets boring, right? 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. Okay, why am I gonna watch it? And this one here as well. But it wasn't quite the case, right? This watching it was just fun in the sense that you always expected a goal to happen, although this is not standing for plenty of goals. Total shot 2.5, the lowest value. But if it happened already 1-0 early on and so on, then you say, well, there are more goals about to come, and so on. So and here you would still somehow see a possible turnaround, right? And here as well, because already also late on, I saw Stuttgart trying. I mean, they tried. I mean, they didn't have the most of it, and it wasn't that great. But still, they could have scored a goal, right? There were just chances. We can look for such a case. Of course, we can look here. Shots 15-15, right? That was 15-15. It was just shots on target, corners. I mean, here they were a bit better. Here they were a bit better. But this 15-15 says enough already. So there had been chances, shots, and when you think, okay, could be a goal to happen. And we had enough goals, right? 1915 is clearly above these two values, so they converted a headful, just too many, but makes it exciting, of course. So anyway, I lost 1,067, so another terrible match day, minus 1067.13, and so I'm trailing. I'm 2,092 euro behind, which is pretty serious, I would say. But arguing about this match day, I can't spot really a single error. If there is one, it's this one. This is the obvious one. But I would still argue. I mean, market on these stats not so clearly, but 5-1, okay. But all the others, I can't complain. Can't complain about this one. It's not a draw. Can't complain here because Leipzig were enough better and had their chances. Can't complain here at all, but I'm not losing, so no complaints. Why? And in this one, I would say 3 times winning a game, still not winning the bet, so to say, right? Okay, it happens, but it was unlucky too. This one meaningless. This one was very okay. I mean, you have to wait for this one in 5 or so when it's not the regular result. This one I can't argue at all. I mean, they were good enough. I needed a win for Augsburg, or a draw would have done, but a win would have. And I can't say anything. I mean, I'm happy with my evaluation. I can't complain here. And in this one, this was anyway the better of all the three, the best of the no away win would have just avoid the draw. Okay, I mean, can't say anything there. So this was maybe one error, and this is costly, but not fully confirmed by stats, so one would still argue. But in all the others, I can't say I was worse than market. So in this case, this was unlucky, but all these kind of things are going to happen. Thanks a lot for watching. It's getting dark. I have to leave. Thank you. Bye-bye. Like, subscribe, comment, share, like, subscribe, comment. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.